Okay, guys, it's the last night of the Nourish Project, week 12. It's really been an amazing 12-week journey working with all of you. I've loved working with all of you and getting to know you all better. Hopefully, that's not ending. I know I'm talking to some people about level 2. So, if that's something you're even potentially interested in, let's reach out to me. We're actually going to take a week off next week and then start the following week. So, I won't take up a lot of our time tonight talking about that, but if you're thinking about it, interested, or just have some questions, just reach out to me and we can chat anytime. I am going to share my screen and pull up these slides. Okay, tonight we're talking about intermittent fasting. I'm so excited to talk about this because I think intermittent fasting is a thing similar to keto, where it has this sort of like mythology around it, where people think it is a magic bullet for losing weight. And I'm going to talk about really sort of the science behind it and the pros and cons, because as you guys know by now, nothing is a magic bullet. Nothing is really like all good or all bad. There's always pros and cons to everything. I do think that intermittent fasting can be a really good tool if it's right for you and if it's done right. But if it's not right for you and if it's not done right, then it could be pretty detrimental to messing up your hormones, your metabolism, and stuff like that. So I want you guys to have all the information so you can make the decision for yourself and give it a try if it makes sense. Okay, so first of all, what it is, intermittent fasting is simply a pattern of eating. It's not a diet. So a diet refers to what you eat, the types of food that you're eating and how much. So intermittent fasting is not a diet. It's just a pattern of eating. It's saying I eat between this time and this time, and I don't eat between this time and this time. So it cycles between periods of fasting and periods of eating. It's also called more scientific. Some people call it restricted feeding. I think that sounds like a farm animal or something. But it's really what it is like you're feeding during a certain time window and you're not during a certain other time window. The other thing it's not is a magical weight loss solution. Some people are going to say, oh my gosh, I did intermittent fasting, I lost all this weight. That does not happen for everybody. And I'm going to talk about why next. So before I get to that, I just want to talk about why we do it, why it can be a really good thing. So the couple benefits of it, and I'll say this more later, but before I even launch into this, there's not that much research about intermittent fasting. A lot of it is anecdotal. A lot of it is studies with very small sample sizes. And a lot of it is studies done on men or male mice. So you have to kind of try it on and see how it works for you and really pay attention to your body and to the signals your body's getting for you. But here are the potential benefits, which actually are really good. Number one, it improves insulin resistance. So when we're talking about, so there's the flip sides of the coin. Insulin resistance is bad. Insulin sensitivity is good. And what that basically means is insulin sensitivity means your body's ability to take carbs and use them rather than storing them as body fat. Insulin resistance is the flip side, which means it's not taking the carbs that you're eating in for fuel. It's just bypassing the fuel and storing them directly as fat. So it helps with insulin resistance. It helps your body be more sensitive to insulin. So when you do give it the carbs, it's like, oh my gosh, give me these carbs, let me use it as fuel. It is a great way to strategize around lifestyle. Like if you're always running out the door and you don't have time for breakfast, it can be a great way to just have your first meal at 10 or 11 or 12 or when you start feeling hungry. It can be a really good way to adhere to your macros, in particular, your calorie target, especially when you're going into a deficit. And Caroline, I'm thinking of you here because we were talking earlier about you're like, every time we increase those calories, it's really fun and I keep increasing it. But you know, it's harder when you start decreasing those calories. So one way when you're decreasing those calories is if you just start eating a little bit later. So it can be a strategy or a technique to stay within your calorie goal if you're in a cut and you find you're always going over your calories. It's also a good way to not obsess about food. So depending on sort of your mindset, your history with disordered eating, it could be a good way to not obsess about food because it's just less time thinking about food and less meals you have to plan, less meals you're tracking and stuff like that. So there's a lot of benefits to it, or potential benefits. So some people is really, really good for. Intermittent fasting can be really, really good for people who have PCOS, which is high insulin resistance, because like I said earlier, helps your body be more sensitive to insulin, which means it's able to take those carbs and use them. Type 2 diabetes for the same reason, not type 1 diabetes. In fact, type 1 diabetes should not be intermittent fasting. You should be eating more regular periods. Anyone who has insulin resistance, I have clients who don't have diabetes or PCOS, but through a lot of intense fasting and fasted cardio type of stuff have insulin resistance. So this could be good for them. And then generally people who are just like regular, mostly healthy individuals. People who should not be doing intermittent fasting: if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or newly postpartum woman, you need to keep those calories coming in regularly. Endurance sport athletes, same thing. You need those calories coming in regularly. Like, Bibi, can you imagine if your athletes are not eating until like noon after practice? Like, that would be a disaster. Children and teenagers should not be doing fasting. Anyone who has like high stomach acid, if you have like acid reflux or an over reliance on coffee, like having all that coffee on an empty stomach, is going to be a no-no. Anyone who has disordered eating or previously disordered eating, and this could cause it to come up again. And then anyone with type 1 diabetes, elderly people, or if your personality is just one where you get hangry, you get irritable if you're hungry, you tend to binge if you're hungry because you kind of go like bounce back on the full spectrum, then probably intermittent fasting is not a great option for you. So you really just have to know yourself and think like, is this going to be a good option for me or not? But generally, for mostly healthy individuals, it can be a really good option. I'm going to go over a few more in depth of the benefits. So what we see with intermittent fasting is that people lose weight faster. And there is some controversy about if it's just because they're able to have lower calories and hit the calorie targets, or it's because of the fasting itself and what that does for the body. So one thing it does is levels of human growth hormone really go sky high. They increase times 5. That helps with
Okay, I thought it was my internet.
Nope.
Am I still frozen?
Oh, you're back.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
No, you're not. Wait. Yeah, you're back.
Okay, I'm gonna just open the door to the internet thing. Hey, baby, can you turn off your internet or something? Okay, can you guys, am I back? Yeah.
You froze there for a sec.
Okay. So,
And you're frozen. Frozen again.
annoying.
Oh, you're back.
I'm gonna try my phone.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, how's this?
Very echoey.
Very echoey.
Ooh, impressive.
That is not a solution.
You're actually back on your computer.
I'm gonna hang this.